Good morning. I hope you're having a fantastic start to your day. Today we're going to talk a little bit. I'm just going to share my take on chapter 2 of the book that we're looking at. It's called Extreme Leadership by Jocko Willink. And chapter 2 talks about no bad teams, only bad leaders. So I want to see what your thoughts are if you've read this book and if you've thought about that particular statement, no bad teams, only bad leaders, what your thoughts might be. But I'm going to take a quote from this book, and it says, "Leaders must face the facts through a realistic, honest assessment of themselves and their team's performance. Identifying weaknesses, good leaders seek to strengthen them and come up with a plan to overcome challenges. It starts with the individual and spreads to each of the team members until this becomes the new standard." So I think that's key, right? It just starts from the top down. It talks about here how what a leader does has a ripple effect on the behavior of everyone else in the team. That constructive leaders guide and direct and expect team members to take responsibility and meet the expected standards. That there needs to be expected standards, right? It can't just be something where you feel like you're doing everything right, but you haven't set the clear expectations for what the team is expected to do. So there's, Willink said, "It's not about what you preach, but about what you tolerate." And I think that goes in life as well. You might talk a good game about how you think things are important or what your values are or what you do in your life. But in the end, it's what you tolerate. If you're around all those people that don't support the values or you are what you tolerate. And so that's what happens in a team as well. That's my 2 cents. So he says here, leaders must be keen when setting standards because in most cases, the substandard performance is when substandard performance is accepted, this becomes the new standard. So here are the questions. So there's an activity for each chapter, and I'll put this in the comments. In the actual post will be my thoughts on it, and then in the comments will be the activity sheet if you want to follow along. Chapter 2. So, no bad teams, only bad leaders. Have you seen good teams with bad leaders? Okay, here's my 2 cents. Yes, I've seen leaders with inexperienced, right there, or naive. I've seen leaders that are arrogant and cocky. I've seen burnout or with no strong desire to lead. People that are put in a position to be leaders that are just don't have that drive. The great potential in their team is there. They're a good team, but they're not a great team. So that's my thoughts on, have you seen teams, good teams with bad leaders? As I think that every team has a possibility of being amazing, and really it's a matter of where that leader then steps into it or not. How about bad teams with good leaders? So no, I think that a good leader will do what they can to strengthen the individuals, make clear goals, bring a team in together, and for those that are not going to rise to that standard, that they'll either weed themselves out or be let go. Now, this is part of the process of building a team, and that a team doesn't come together within, it doesn't just happen. You build it and you work on it and you work towards the clear goals, and you make sure that everyone is getting the support and the coaching and training and resources they need. What about, do you think bad teams exist? I don't think there are bad teams. I think that there are teams that might not be have the right individuals for the right purpose or right seat in the organization. Bruce Bird. How are you, mate? We're talking about the book Extreme Ownership. We're on chapter 2. Bad teams, no bad teams, only bad leaders. And so, well, the question was, I don't think that bad teams exist. I think that there are possibly people that are in the wrong team, and then that needs to be worked out. But in general, I think that the bad teams can be changed by the leader that's in charge. So I talk a little bit about here why or why not is the next question. It says, I believe that a team might have imperfections and areas to improve. We are always growing and learning, and I believe that any team can be effective with an effective leader. Now, that's if people are stepping up into what's expected. And then it says the last question here, what do we think about an idea of it's not what you preach, but it's what you tolerate. It's not what you preach, but it's what you tolerate. And I know just because you teach something doesn't mean you're going to get 100% success, because some people will need the support. This is what we talked about before, being in the right spot. If they need the support, they might need help with their attitude, they might need help with their excuses or their beliefs, they might need help with their understanding of the mission or the goal that they're involved in. And then that then allows that behavior to change through this coaching and training and support. But if that is not clearly met, if you are not then clearly getting to the expected the expected performance that's required as part of each person in the team, then that then could be the new standard, right? Because now you're tolerating that kind of substandard performance. So that's when we talked about before, is either these people are in the right seat in the team, or maybe they need to be on another team or not involved in this particular goal or mission. So that was in regards to, it's not what you preach, it's what you tolerate. And we talked about how that's in life as well as in the teams. So if you're thinking of it says here at the end, I like this statement in chapter 2, it says, if you think you're making all the right decisions and you're not winning, then you're not making the right decisions. Because he talks about the CTO that said, we're making all the right decisions. We just haven't, hit the targets that we wanted. Well, no, mate, you're not making all the right decisions. You got to take responsibility as the leader, see what you can improve on, see where your team needs to work on, and what needs to be done so that you can pull together and achieve that and be effective. So I think that it's not what you preach, it's what you tolerate. I think that good leaders can also be trained up. So sometimes people are put into positions where they're not quite ready to lead. And so sometimes leaders need to be trained up. And that really the team then is going to exemplify what that leader is doing. And it starts from there and works your way down. Now, it can't be just it has to be humanized a little bit. You have to be able to look at, these people are human beings, and so you have to look at all the support and the resources and the training and the attitude and the mindset and all the things that you've looked at. If that, after doing all of that, they are not right for the team because they're not setting that standard of that performance that you need, then they need to be moved into another team or off the team altogether or somewhere else, because that leader is then responsible. So I love chapter 2, no bad teams, only bad leaders. Let's continue to lead and learn and grow. And I hope you have a fantastic day. We'll look at chapter 3 tomorrow and keep going through this book. Take care. We'll see you later.